Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, little children, dogs and cats, your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that. And we are back for another week. Listen, you know how I do when I do it and how I do it. Books and business, we're gonna start it off. Tonight's show is gonna be very interesting. Just want to let y'all know that I might have a few people pulling up to the show tonight. First, I want to start off by saying happy birthday to Mr. Grandtastic. Today's his birthday. The bro, yeah. Happy birthday. So he's actually not going to be on the show tonight, but we always got to send our love. Let him get a little vacation on, let him get his thing on, let his wife take care of him for the night, suckling ribs, back rubs. Stuff like that. But you know how I like to start off the show. I have my books and business, current events, I do my thing. But I have been perplexed lately, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been perplexed because I have never in the history of niggerdom have seen so many people trust the government so much. Now, I'm not saying that there's not good aspects of the government. We all know that government is needed. But this type of infrastructure, first of all, democracy was an experiment. And in fact, it's an illusion and a lie because you pledge allegiance to a republic, not a democracy. Just wanted to throw that in there to you. Secondly, um, when it comes to pharmaceutical, the big medical arena in the United States of America, they have never actually done 90% of the time, they have never done actually good things for the general population. And for some reason, this year, everyone's been so strong in trusting the government with this experimental drug. People make claims that there's not evidence to prove that this experimental drug is harmful to people. Ladies and gentlemen, you must know how the system of the beast work. Number one, they already know that you're a skeptic to um, vaccines and drugs and things that the government normally, they know black folks are skeptical. However, we have to also realize that the government is actually 7 to 10 years more advanced in technology than the general population. That's not a speculation. That's government documents. You can get that in any .gov you want to go look at, or you can just take it from someone who actually worked for the government before in their life. And I'm not just talking about little stuff. I'm talking about agencies. Um, but also, you got to realize, man, that people who are supporting this vaccine that says they try to equate it with food. You can't, that's not a good argument at all. We know food is poisoned.
Right.
And we also know that we can go on whatever restaurant, whatever food website and look at the poison that we're receiving. But there's never been a restaurant that has legislation passed where you can't sue them for harm to your body. But vaccinations, you can't sue anybody. Um, and I wouldn't say all of them.
I think it's this one.
There are certain vaccinations that have been good. I will admit that as a black man, there's certain vaccinations that have been good. About 85% of them, though, I would have to say, has been given to people based on falsehood. And this is my problem with it, is whenever a government agency says in their own documentation, not articles, not YouTube videos, not Facebook videos, not casual conversations, in their reporting documents that this is an experimental drug, then I have a huge issue. Hold on, you said my mic was going in and out? I want the people to hear me clearly, so hold on. Let me see what's going on with said microphone. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, cool. All right, so back what I was saying. Let me do this. Oh, I know what it is. Hold up. Hold on, people. We're gonna get the sound right. I know exactly what it is. It's a setting in StreamYard that I am going to. There we go. Hey girl. Testing 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2. All right, cool. So anyway, what I was saying was, yeah, dingo. Yeah, StreamYard has that thing on it that I don't like. But anyway, so what I was saying, I can turn my microphone back down now. So what I was saying was, we trust these so-called vaccinations so much, but let's look at what. Let's take black people out of it and just look at what the agencies are reporting themselves. The CDC, I can't help it. Oh well. The CDC has literally said that this is an experimental drug. The FDA, first of all, how can food and drugs be administered under the same organization? That's suspect right there. And, and so the CDC and the FDA said that this is an experimental drug. They literally have it classified as an experimental drug. On top of that, it has been forced upon the population due to the Emergency Act authorization, emergency use authorization, or Emergency Act authorization, one of them. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So it's the EAU. So the Emergency Act authorization is what they classified under. But anyway, because there was a state of emergency placed on this pandemic, then we can inject or jab people with said serum, right? Because that's all it is. It's a serum. This is what happens when people don't read books. I have a book called The Eye of Darkness that was written in 1979. It was revised in 1981, where a whistleblower from the government left America, sought asylum, wrote this book, published it. I'm actually going to give you a copy of the book. Emergency Use Authorization is the EUA. Thank you. Thank you, big bro. So inside this book, and I actually have this on my Instagram. I posted it like 2 years ago. It talks about how it gives the month and the year that this bioweapon was going to be released. It actually got released a couple months earlier than it was supposed to because the Asian, the Orient young lady discovered what was really going on and tried to whistleblow, and she accidentally spilt one of the serums in the hospital, and it got out that way. That's how it wasn't bats, it wasn't soup, it wasn't none of that. Yeah, the COVID-19 bioweapon that was released in Wuhan wasn't started by because people were eating bats. People have been eating bats since like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, this serum, if people don't believe that nanobots or nanotechnology is inside of the serum, You have to realize that nanotechnology has been inside of vaccinations and medicine since the 1980s. So this is not. If you go to the CDC's website, it tells you if you are experiencing these things because of the nanotechnology within our certain serums, this is the people you're supposed to contact. Like literally, it tells you if you're experiencing this, contact these people because it's nanotechnology. It's miniature robots that they're implanting into your body. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to have cancer or none of those drastic things that black folks have been looking for. What it does is it follows your blood and it attaches to your DNA. Then it begins to alter your DNA. And once a robot is connected to your DNA, whoever controls the robot now has access to control your thoughts, your heart, your DNA, your existence. So then I had the good brother RZA come on. And the good brother RZA brought up a valid point, and I'm quite sure um, he was. First of all, Congress is not going to have a meeting about silencing people for spreading lies. They're going to propagate it that way. Yeah. But if someone is going to spread lies, then they would present facts to disprove the lie. But the only thing that they're doing is saying, oh, this is a lie. Well, if someone was to say they slept with your mama, there has to be. Never mind. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me move on. So, the good brother RZA, by the ADL, has been silenced. Congress and along with 12 other people, who, by the way, majority of them are not black, and majority of them worked for the government, and 4 of them actually worked for Dr. Fauci, stated all the things that the public should know about said experimental drug. Do you know that every time depopulation was on the top of the priority list, some of the first places they went to was the black church? Have we forgot history? Have we forgot eugenics? Have we forgot that our vaccination programs and experimental drug programs came from the Nazis? And we took some of their scientists? Have you forgot the Tuskegee experiment? Have we forgot? Oh, let me bring that up. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, the Tuskegee experiment was they didn't treat black people. It was 600 black folks, black men specifically, that was a part of the Tuskegee experiment. They didn't treat 201 of them. But all of them died from the same symptoms, except for the ones that had the experimental drug placed into them died faster and much worse. So it wasn't just the withholding of a vaccine. It was an experimenting on humans, because why didn't they experiment on white folks? You selected black folks and lied and said you were going to give them health care. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring this up because it's the elite's way of bringing more division amongst the sheep. And it's my duty as a whistleblower to say, wake up, you've been lied to. Am I saying that you should or should not get jabbed? That's your personal choice. But since there are a lot of tolerance going on, I'm just going to call myself a trans vaxxer. I identify as someone who is vaccinated, even though I'm not vaccinated. So you have to respect my choice. I'm just saying.
I'm a vaxophobic.
So now you feel that you've been vaccinated?
I feel
You feel?
I've been vaccinated, so
Okay.
therefore you have to accept my identification.
I have vaxophobia.
Listen, real quick. I know I just went on a current event rant. I just had to get that off my chest. Also, another rant I want to go on real quick is this whole Trump supporters, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, left versus right, white evangelicalism, and black church, and all this stuff. Everyone has to wake up and realize that the elites are putting more and more things to divide us. Because if we were to unite, then it would be over for them. Oh, the man versus the woman. And your value is placed on these federal notes that we give you. And your value is based upon how subservient you are to the man. All these things that we are arguing about, at the end of the day, they have value. They have substance, yes. There are different roles to play, yes. But if you allow the elites, let's put race out of it for a second. If you allow the elites to continually divide the population, they're going to win. Bill Gates did a freaking TED Talk with thousands of people on it and said that depopulation was the goal and niggas was applauding in the audience.
And vaccination is how we're going to do it.
And he said vaccination is how we're going to. He had an event before COVID hit to talk about the spread of COVID. Just want to throw that out there. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick 2.2. When I come back, I'm going to introduce my co-host, and we're going to dive into a very good discussion. It's your boy Randy Chu, a.k.a. Mr. Chu on that. We'll be right back after this quick 2.2. Cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now rocking with the vibes of Mr. Randy Chew Woo Woo. Anyway, it's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that. And I'm here with my co-host, IA. Talk to the people, IA. And keep talking to him.
I guess I'm saying I'm succulent ribs and baby
Back rubs.
back rubs and baby oil.
Yes.
I done jacked that up.
It's succulent ribs and back rubs.
There you go.
Yes. Okay, so listen. I have a guest that's going to come onto the panel with us to help us with the discussion for tonight. Everyone, welcome Miss Destiny Harris to the show.
Hi, Destiny.
How you doing? Destiny, your mic is... Let me unmute you.
Sorry. Hi, how are you?
There we go. Say hi to the people real quick.
Hello. Hi.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
I can hear you.
Okay, good, perfect. So, listen,
Little California King.
tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about post-betrayal syndrome. Has there been any betrayal that's been going on in your life that you realize that in your present condition, your present life, that you are making decisions or have a mindset based upon past betrayals, post-betrayal syndrome? So, I want to throw it to IA first, and then Miss Destiny Harris second. Post-betrayal syndrome, when I say that, what comes to your mind first?
Somebody who violated you in the worst kind of way. It can be emotional, it can be mental. But it's betrayal to me is the deepest cut that you can have, and it can leave an imprint for life. That's what I think of.
Wow. Destiny, talk to me.
I think for me it's church.
Ooh, you said church?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay,
So,
the reason why I say
that
that
is
is
because I
because
think
my
my father's a pastor,
and that's
and all I know
Church.
is church, and I'm always there. So, times we would have members, it would come and go.
Those were
People
people
I
I
was
was
around all the time, and I'm used to
always
leaving.
I
I
felt
betrayed
betrayed.
nobody ever ran on for a long time, and the crowd shut.
Which is why
Sometimes I don't even conversation with I don't want to get close. They're always pushing me out of your way because I always felt like
they're gonna
leave. They're not gonna stay forever. So that's why I think of church is always people who said, I'm gonna be here forever. I'm committed. I am ready to work. I'm ready to do this. And then I see them up like nowhere without any warning or whatever. And it's was now I was under a negative because they had to move for work or something whatever. But I just always knew that at some point it was gonna.
Wow. So, let's dive a little deeper. So, so the only way for someone to experience betrayal is because the foundation of trust has been broken.
Mm-hmm.
If the foundation or the fundamental source of trust has been broken, and in today's society, trust isn't just relational, it's also financial, economics. You trust this website to send you the product that you pay for, yada, yada, yada. You write a review based upon what they didn't do or what they did do, and that's all based on trust.
Yeah.
Are our relationships with other people e-commerce? And anyone can answer it at any
God
time.
damn.
So are you saying you're saying that is any of our relationships really financially based?
Yes.
Transactional?
Transactional, yes, yes.
I would say that despite people talking about, give me unconditional love or, agape love, yeah, our love is conditional. I can't say every relationship is e-commerce because I'm thinking it's different when you have a child.
Okay.
Now I know everybody's not built the same, so some of those relationships might be transactional as well.
Okay.
But I can't say every relationship
It's transactional.
is
Okay.
transactional.
Destiny, what's your thoughts?
I don't really
I don't really know how to feel about it. I just hold on, you can repeat the question down for that, right?
So I said, if trust is the foundation or the fundamental resource of all relationships, even the way that we like purchase stuff online. So you go to Amazon, you trust that Amazon's going to send you your package because you paid for it. Yada yada yada. It's based upon what you say you're going to do and you fulfilling what you said. So is the relationships that we have in life e-commerce?
for sure.
For sure.
I
I mean, when it comes to people, and
I mean,
I follow just
that's how
I determine my trust the person.
it
Seeing what have you done, what have you, how can I trust you, how can you come to pass in the past, but how I look at how you treat other people, and how you do for other people. I am very accepting. I can be very quiet sometimes, but a quiet person is not to be observant. And so I feel for sure, yeah.
So, have you ever... I'm going to bring this up later, but let's dive a little deeper real quick. Let me start with myself. I have mindsets or thought patterns right now that I know stem from the fact that I've been betrayed in the past. And if those betrayals would not have happened, I wouldn't have the precautions that I have today. IA and then Destiny, what are some things that you can identify that you carry today that is based upon past betrayal?
You want to go first?
I'll
Let you go first.
Nice try.
I'm thinking.
While she's thinking, if you want to dial in and talk about your experience, the number to dial is 516-531-9828. 516-531-9828. We are talking about post-betrayal syndrome.
And if you ever smacked your great-great-great-grandmother, like, subscribe, and share this joint.
I'll say I can feel anxious inside of any relationship, whether it be at work, friendship, romantic. I feel anxious inside of a relationship because I remember growing up, if things were too peaceful for too long, the bigger the explosion was going to be when it came.
Ooh, oh yeah.
And so it is a constant, like, staying calm and just feeling easy, because there is this anxiousness that things won't be calm and peaceful for too long. And if it is peaceful for too long, I'll say I've evolved now where it's not that I think things won't be calm, but I always think, okay, when an explosion does happen, will this person be steady? Will we be able to survive the explosion when it happens? And that is something I would say extends from feeling betrayed growing up.
Destiny, talk to us.
I know for me, some of the things that I've done and noticed not that long ago, I just noticed that I
Is it her
put
audio?
Hey Destiny, you going in and out on your audio real quick. Your audio's going in and out.
Oh, okay. Don't know what I should do.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So I don't know if it's better, but
I
I feel like right now, I don't even let myself get into a relationship like at all. Even if it comes to my own family, I will put myself but when it was brought to house skills. Even when I had dinner or watching everything myself away because I didn't want to feel that feeling of I know that is going to end. I know that at some point they're going to or they're going to do something to hurt me. So I would always put away. I put friendship and work relationships back to me. I just hope I'm talking to people for or just talk to people at all. Like just like this where I don't have to interact with somebody else. Then I will try to make sure that I try to avoid talking to people. Something that I've noticed is trying to get better with.
I'm not catching anything she's saying.
I just I realize that I always push myself.
Hey Destiny, so your audio's going in and out. So try to find some headphones or something real quick to be able to connect. And
Are you on speaker?
while you're doing that, I'll be able to see you in the back office while you do that. So, so one of the things, that I notice that I do often when it comes to post-betrayal syndrome is I don't give people the benefit of the doubt first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a viber. So for people who don't know, a viber is someone who can sense the vibe of a person.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been deceived
By vibes.
Mm. Because people people have become master manipulators.
Mm.
And they know how to manipulate energy and vibes.
Yeah.
The art of deception, the art of war. And not to go into details, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I accepted people as like, wow, they are in my circle, but they came to the circle with an ulterior motive to do me harm.
Yep.
And so now I'm afraid that my precaution might not give someone the opportunity to be a part of my circle that should be there.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Have you experienced something like that, or do you feel like you have a mindset now where you could actually be missing out on something because of a past wound?
I'm an energy person, so
Okay.
you know that is a big thing for me. I describe myself as a slow cooker. So I do grapple with that concept.
Okay.
Because sometimes I won't ever go against the energy thing. But what I do notice is that when people have, we'll just say at the basis of it, maybe trust issues or just challenges with feeling less anxious when they're amongst people or people that they're unfamiliar with,
Mm-hmm.
they tend to put out a vibe that can create this dynamic where the other person feels like they always have to be on edge, or that they're being tested, or you know, they almost feel like, well, since you think I'm guilty anyways, then I might as well not even try. So I will say I've also been on the receiving end when a person may be like that, and I'll tell you that I quickly and abruptly exited left. So I'll have to say, yeah, it can most definitely happen if you're not mindful. I think a good way to combat that is to be open and vulnerable.
Can we honestly have a trusting relationship if society teaches us how to go after people of a higher status? If society always molds us to go after what benefits us, and it's all about us, me, can we honestly say that we don't have the capacity to betray someone?
We don't have the capacity?
Yeah.
I think we're all capable. I know.
Wow.
I think people love to. I always say this, like, we love to think that other people are the evil ones, but we all grapple with bad and evil. All of us.
You better talk.
All
tonight.
of us are we're rooted with that. So, you know, you see babies bopping each other over the head when they take a toy. So I mean, you think you grew out of that?
Yeah.
That's in your nature. So, I do believe it starts with self. Like.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why some of the people that you think betrayed you, or sometimes it's even perception. Like, you can tell a whole story to yourself.
Wait. Oh, that's okay. So now you're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people in today's society who make up stories.
Yes.
Victim Olympics.
Very much so.
They just Tokyo 2020 all the way, their whole testimony and story.
You get a gold medal. You get a gold medal.
You get a gold medal. You get a gold medal. And you get no. So this is like, how can genuine people be able to discern what's genuine and what's fake in relationship if everyone has been programmed in the art of deception? Because the reason why I asked this, and I'm gonna re-ask it, is because post-betrayal syndrome literally makes it's the root of it is fear-based.
For sure.
The root of wanting someone to be loyal to you is fear-based.
You know, they say the two real emotions that every human really truly experiences is love or fear. Everything else is based from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is love a feeling?
I think it's a feeling. I think it's an act.
Okay.
I think the definition of God is love. So I think it is something much higher than us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if love can cast out fear, if we have fear, that means that we're not operating out of a place of love.
Correct.
I know you better say that.
So
lean over just to get it.
So if our betrayals in the past happen to us and we shut ourselves off from receiving certain people because we have triggers.
Yep.
Can we honestly say that we're operating out of love? Because the triggers are our responsibility, not the other person.
That's true, but we make it other people's
responsibility. So, how can we fix that? That's what I want to get to. How can we stop blaming other people for hitting our triggers?
You know, you've heard this before, but that's distracting me. We've heard this before, but it really does come to loving yourself. And when I say loving yourself, is not a lot of people throw that out there, but they really don't know what that means.
Okay.
But really try to drive out that fear.
Okay.
Really try to address the sources of fear. I always say, if you don't want to love anyone else, learn to love yourself, because that's, once you have that filled up inside, that's all you'll be able to pour out.
Wow. Yo, that's spot on. And I'm gonna let our guests come back on in a few minutes, but that's spot on, because how can you say you love someone if you don't have self-love? But
which is that statement that they make, like, you can't truly love someone if you don't love yourself. I never understood that till that clicked for me. Never understood that.
When did it click for you?
I was probably, I was mid-20s.
Mid-20s?
A little bit after college, yeah. Okay. That's when it clicked for me that okay, that's what they mean. If I was watching Oprah. It was
Okay.
a soul. A shout out to Soul. Was it Super Soul Sunday? Thanks,
Okay.
Oprah. Where she had a show where she talked about the two emotions was fear or love, and I couldn't quite understand that, but as I started to grapple with the thought, that's when it clicked for me that that's what that meant.
Can someone who's dealing with post-betrayal syndrome truly walk in joy?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so, because again, you can choose to live, or you can choose to survive, or you can choose to exist.
Wow.
We all have been.
Wow.
There's 3 forms of life.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
You're either surviving, you're either existing, or you are living. Shout out to Rick Warren. But that is a real statement. So I think even that you can be rooted again in victimhood by.
So are you saying that? If we operate in our current condition from a place of betrayal,
Yep,
then we are merely surviving
that's right.
and we're not living?
That's right.
How do we? I'm gonna say that for the end of the show now. So how do we then? For those people who have been damaged so much that they're just existing.
Yep.
They feel like they have no purpose in life.
Yep.
Just do their 9 to 5
Yep.
thing, go home.
It's that robotic person that you see.
Yes.
They don't want anything
That's-
more or less. Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Robotic. They are iRobot.
Mhm.
You know. How can they begin to break that mold, that habit of just being a robot?
First things first. Stop pretending. Stop telling a story that's not accurate, that's not true, and make a decision. I always say start with the end goal in mind. So envision your highest self, the highest vision. Like I say, tap into your childhood. Be as imaginative, creative. If it feels crazy, that means you're doing the right thing. So think of like the craziest, and I put that in quotation marks because I think anybody crazy is who's actually winning in life.
Okay.
People who are polite or colored in the lines, you don't ever hear about them.
I think that the reason why post-betrayal syndrome happens is because we shut off from the small signs of betrayal that we see.
Yep.
Because betrayal doesn't just happen overnight. It's breadcrumbs that leads to the whole freaking leaven. But why do we do that? Why do we dismiss the small things? And let me backtrack. Let me say it like this. Growing up the way that I grew up, and all this trials and circumstances I went through, I noticed that I watch people very, very intentionally. Like the smallest thing, and I'll be like, oh, you have the capability of doing this. You have the capability of doing that. It's wise in one sense, but as I rise in the level of consciousness, I realize that in of itself is fear-based.
That's right.
And so how does someone who sees something legit about to happen, how can they walk in love while it's happening?
Give the person grace and give them some time, because I'm 150% sure there was some not so pretty moments that you've committed,
Okay.
and you pray to God that someone didn't crucify you or hold that against you for life.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, with the knowing that people are rooted in good and evil, and once you kind of take the stigma off this thing, this is another thing I like to do. I like to neutralize everything.
Okay.
So we have certain characteristics that we categorize as good and bad. Start to attempt to neutralize all these characteristics. I'll give an example, like someone who seeks control, who's controlling.
Okay.
That kind of has a negative stigma. And so if you can start to neutralize that this person is in need of control, then you start asking, well, why is this person in need of control? What's their story? What are they looking to accomplish? Is there a healthy way where we can fulfill the need that they have to be in control while at the same time maintaining a healthy relationship? And there's actually tons of ways.
Let me ask this. Can women have a false sense that a man is trying to control them because they've experienced betrayal in that nature in the past.
For sure. Anybody can, yes.
And how can women conquer that if they have a good leader with them?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Uh-huh.
I'll say, you know, before you even get to someone, if you know that's something that you're battling with, there's some self-work that needs to happen. I personally believe in therapy. I believe in self-help, books, reading, podcasts, YouTube's, prayer, talking.
Let me word it a different way.
Okay.
Say,
I'm giving the solution.
say a person is already in a relationship, right? And they are in a relationship. A woman is in a relationship with a good man. He's a leader. He's not perfect,
Okay.
but he's good.
Okay.
Great heart. He's not doing stupid stuff.
Okay.
As a man, he has a vision. He knows his purpose. But in order for a man to be complete, he needs a woman,
For sure.
and vice versa. That means just
For sure.
life. So there's certain things that a man is not going to be able to conquer until he's tried by the woman. And there's certain things that a woman can't accomplish until she's led by the man. Which is why the number one thing that the devil and the elite attack so much is familyhood. Because once the man and the woman is united, you can't stop nothing.
That's right.
Kids are going to be straight and everything.
That's right.
But with that being said, say the woman is in a relationship, because I'm asking this for a specific reason, because there's been some of the True Radio listeners have been asking these questions, and I'm not a black woman, I'm not a woman in general to answer this question. I can give my stats and opinions and other people's perspective, but I would rather them hear it from someone who's a female. So they have a good man at the home, and this man is leading, providing, and when I mean provide, I'm not just talking about financially. He's giving her the emotional support, the whole nine.
Okay.
And she realizes that she's not submitting or listening to this man because she feels like he's controlling, but he's actually protecting her from danger, whether it's friends, financial danger, emotional danger, or the workplace environment, because a lot of women get taken advantage of in the work environment. I mean, to the point where they even have work husbands and things like that.
That's
where,
true.
you know, sexual assault in the workplace or sexual slurs in the workplace that shouldn't be tolerated.
That's true.
That women suppress because it's coming from the superior. Things like that. But if you have a man at home who you know for 1,000% got your back, but you are battling because you've been controlled in the past, how do you free yourself as a woman to be able to accept that type of leadership?
First things first, you gotta be aware of self. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, you have to communicate. You have to communicate 100%. As things are happening or as you're feeling certain things, you gotta talk to your person. From there, you decide what you think is best. But like I said, I'm not against therapy, reading, listening, podcasting, nature. But you really do have to address that. And then really say, this person that I'm with, are they really, really out for good intention for me? Or are they really out to take me out? And if you can't answer that with, yeah, good intention, then yeah, maybe there's another bigger conversation that needs to be had.
Okay.
But I think the first question needs to be asked is this person well intended for me? Do they mean well for me? And if the answer is yes, then you need to take the steps to move forward and fix that.
Do you feel like that betrayal has made it hard for genuine men to hold women accountable to their thought process?
What do you mean by that?
So, if a woman admits, like you just said, hey, this is something I'm battling with.
Yes.
I know you're not controlling, but because of previous
Stuff.
circumstances,
Yeah.
you know, this is what I'm feeling.
Mhm.
This is what I'm going through emotionally. And the man is reassuring. He's saying, you know, this is, and he's laying it out. This is why I said you shouldn't do this because of A, B, and C. He's like explaining everything. But she's still treating him in a way where he's, where she's still treating him in a sense like he's trying to control her. And if he was to hold her accountable to that treatment, like how should the woman respond to that? If the man was to come and be like, you know what, you're still treating me like, you're still coming at me from your past experiences, and I want to hold you accountable to your actions because I want to help you get past it.
Yep.
How should a true woman respond to that type of leadership? Because
I think any person should respond. Again, it starts with the question: is this person well intended? And if so, if you are committed to also making this relationship work, it's going to require you to put in that hard work to hold your part up, to hold your part of the bargain up.
Right. So she, in other words, she should be able to
receive that. And this is the thing. It's easy to say that when you are of sober mind, but when you are drunk off of the hurt, the victimhood, the pain,
let's go like
it's going to take some time. So I will say, whenever you're with each other, it's going to require patience. It's going to require work, but both of you all have to be committed to your side, to your set of the agreement.
Yeah, I think a part of healing from betrayal, you have to have a partner that has endurance.
Yes.
Because they're going to, and that's why the scriptures say that love holds no record of wrong. Because you're going to be crushed based upon trying to be a healing factor to your significant other. I don't think that men or women, modern men or women, have been taught endurance.
Right.
In fact, I feel like today's culture has kind of sissified the men and masculated the women.
100%.
Yes.
And because of that, it's brought a confusion
for sure
to the world where I don't know how to, well, not me specifically, but men don't know how to be masculine.
Yeah.
And women don't know how to be feminine.
Right.
And the beauty of both are not appreciated.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like abused.
It really is.
In a sense. And I think that's because of it's the post-betrayal syndrome. Because we can't act like men haven't gone through betrayal and women haven't gone through betrayal in relationship. Shoot, freaking friendships. You know, you go through friendships where there's a sense of betrayal. The moment y'all have a argument or disagreement, your business is out on the street.
That's true.
Or they begin to say things and you're like, oh, you've been holding that
the whole time.
The whole time. You've been holding this against me the whole time. Have you ever been the one that has been the betrayer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
It was the second grade.
Without.
This is a real story. This is a real story.
Wow.
I saw my friend getting into a fight, and I kind of egged it on, and I did not try to de-escalate. I most definitely didn't jump in. I feel like I participated, and I think that is a form of betrayal.
Wow.
I think that's a form of betrayal.
The second grade.
I
was gonna say it don't have an age, you know, and the thing is, like, yeah, you did it as kids, and You can do it as an adult. I really am big about being just. But yeah, I think about some of my childhood times and I'm like, yeah, no. But yeah, that was a betrayal.
I have seen, and part of my motivation for having this topic is because a lot of the brothers that I know that have their own podcast platforms and all that have been going through this cycle of speaking out of anger, and we use that as a cape
Yep.
to what we really feel.
Exactly.
We wait for ourselves to be angry to finally say what we've really been holding in the whole
Yep.
time.
Yep.
And I've seen these podcasts lose co-hosts, featured host, the whole nine, over moments of anger. And I feel like having moments of anger is a sense of betrayal. I'll give a personal example.
Okay.
Me and Big Bro, I've had a moment of anger, but I never said anything that sober-minded I wouldn't stand on. So it can't be viewed as betrayal because what I said out of anger came from the heart, but it was also backed up with evidence to why I said what I said.
Okay.
A lot of people have been programmed to just go off of feeling so much that there's no evidence to support why they feel the way that they feel.
Right.
Tell it.
And when I say evidence, I'm talking about something that you can honestly point to justify your feelings.
Sound substance.
I'm not talking about statistics. I'm not talking about what someone says is facts or your truth, because there's no such thing as
Your truth is the truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. And I think that betrayal has also been a crutch for a lot of people to not evolve into who they're supposed to become.
Definitely.
It's given gas to the procrastinator. Because
That's how they did.
when you realize that every relationship that you go through, that you have, is a reflection of your internal self, then you have to start to realize that you actually betrayed yourself first before someone else.
I'm so glad you said that.
So go ahead, chime in.
No, I mean, even when they say like, you know, you're mirroring or you're who you're attracting, who you're just coming into your life. That essentially is what's being said with that. And sometimes when people get in these relationships and they'll be like, well, I got with this really abusive, you know, loudmouth, blah blah blah. I'm not like that. There's something inside that's abusing you. And so that most definitely spoke to the inner person here. And so they are verbally, physically, they're the physical self-expression of you.
Yeah. That is a tough pill to swallow.
It is.
And that's why I appreciate Zoe Williams so much, is because he does not allow people to escape that reality. Because he feels like the better you are, the better you attract. And if everyone was to focus on self, the more respect and honor we can have in our interactions with one another. It comes from African culture. It was the European that kind of made us transactional. African culture was a culture based on honor, and there were. I'm not saying that there wasn't people that was transactional. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the majority.
Okay.
It was the minority, which is why there's stories about the minorities, because they're an anomaly to the matrix. You know. Let's go scripture. Let's look at Joseph. I mean, the younger brother tells his older brothers, "Yo, this is the dream I had." They beat him up, take his clothes, throw him into slavery. He goes through everything he goes through. He becomes the second most powerful person in the world, only for his brothers to come back to him, not recognize him. And he had the power to punish them, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he saved them. If Joseph would have internally become evil, then he would have attracted death in his life. But because he had purity of heart, he was able to take the betrayal of others and still be able to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because he had to look at his brothers, the same ones who beat him up and sold him into slavery. Every hardship, he had the right to say, everything bad I experienced in life came from you. But I'm not going to judge you in the current based upon your past mistakes. Why can't we do that in a relationship?
I feel like the relationship is the most intimate relationship you will ever have beyond your siblings, even your parents. So yeah, like to open up that way to people, a lot of times it's hard because folks will have to face themselves, and that is the hardest relationship to face, is yourself.
Ooh.
So I always say that when you go on your healing journey, it is going to be the hardest thing you've ever faced, because you have to be super honest. I'm able to tell you about that second grade story because I faced myself already. So you can't crucify me any more than I've crucified myself and healed from that. You know what I'm saying?
So trust, we said, is a fundamental resource. It's an economic force, all of that, right? But it's also, if I trust you, trust takes away the complications of who you are. I don't have to worry about how complex you are, because trust says whatever you say, you're going to do.
Right.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Belief, the etymology of the word belief, is to give away a lie. If you're giving away a lie, that means you're receiving truth. That's what the etymology of the word belief. Be-lile, or belief, means to give away the lie to receive the truth. So if I'm trusting you, I'm constantly giving away a lie about you to receive the truth of who you are. And the more that you prove yourself with your words and your actions, the more evidence I have in my trust in you. So when someone lies, it breaks trust, because I can't give that lie away, because it's the reality of current situation.
Right.
But betrayal has the deception of making you punish someone for a lie that they never spoke. How can you heal your partner or friend from looking at you from a sense of a lie that you never committed?
How can you look at your friend or
help them heal from a lie that you never committed?
I most definitely have been in those relationships too, and I'm limiting those, but I will say that be the example that you know that they are so in dire need, desperate need of seeing. I historically have done that, and a lot of times I got burnt. But there were a few examples where I could tell like someone could have gone off the deep end, but they were well intended, and they started to relax. They started to be like, okay, I think it's safe. I've had to have conversations. Hey, this can't be a one-sided friendship.
So, good point. Can't be a one-sided friendship. Why do you have that mindset?
Why it can't be a one-sided friendship? Because a relationship is two. A relationship is two.
Okay, it's unidirectional.
Correct.
Okay.
It needs to be reciprocal.
Okay.
And so that's the thing I always say about people who
Is that when it comes to the healing process, the doctor's on the surgery table.
Yep.
The patient can't be unidirectional to the doctor because the patient is unconscious, and so the doctor is the one that has to do the work to fix the patient.
Yeah.
Why don't we have that same mindset in relationship? When someone is damaged so much, God, universe, whatever people want to blame it on, whatever, sends this person your way, this patient your way, and you are supposed to be the doctor in that moment. You can't expect a return from a patient until the surgery is over.
One-sided friendship or two-sided friendships doesn't necessarily mean 50-50, which is why I don't believe in 50-50. Everybody's got their strengths and everybody's got their area of opportunity.
Okay.
So just like in relationship, you may need to carry the relationship for a while. The other person may need to carry the relationship for a while. I may have to carry this portion of the relationship.
Right.
You may have to carry that portion of the relationship. It may look like where I'm doing the work and your role is to show up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
wow.
If it's to the point where I'm working and I'm showing up and you're just leeching or just, bleeding onto me, like everyone has their threshold.
Yeah.
The doctor has their capabilities. There is a limit to even their capability where they may say, hey, I've done all the work I can do. I may have to refer you to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, we're going to take a quick 2.2. When I come back, I'm going to give my final thoughts. And we're going to close out the show. But this is just an icebreaker to the next 2 to 3 shows, by the way. This is going to be powerful. Listen, it's your boy Randy Chu. We're going to take a quick 2.2.
My mama told me a long time ago, yeah, suck them fucking titties raw, baby. So time I was, let me suck your titties, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Randy Chew, aka Mr. Chew on that, and I'm here with my co-host, IA,
aka internal audience.
Quiet Storm, Sucker Ribs,
All that jazz.
So, IA, give us your final statement on post-betrayal syndrome.
So as far as post-betrayal syndrome, just so that the people know exactly what post-betrayal syndrome is, because I don't think we actually fully define that, right?
Go ahead, do your thing.
All right. So according to healthline.com, betrayal trauma theory suggests harm within attachment relationships, like relationships between a parent and a child or between romantic partners, that can cause a lasting trauma.
That's actually what I'm going to talk about next week, is parents and children. But go ahead.
Yep. So people often respond to betrayal by pulling away from the person who betrayed them. But when you depend on someone to meet certain needs, this response might not be feasible. So you may have some deep-rooted emotional stuff that you just constantly had to go through. And so it can lead to PTSD, in case people had that question. But how did I start to heal? I'll say this. I first did not recognize some of the things that happened as betrayal. I always felt like betrayal was such a heavy word. And so I first, again, decided that I wanted to be the highest version, that something beyond even my thoughts. So I always say this: start with your goal backwards. Envision the highest version of self, and then go even a little bit beyond that.
Go deeper.
Okay, so for me, I remember I got out of a relationship and I knew if I didn't do something super drastic that I would be berserk. So I remember that weekend, I think we broke up on a Tuesday. That weekend, I watched Oprah's Super Soul Sunday and binge watched that entire weekend. And there was so much content, from like self to like people's different walks of life. I heard something today, like a lack of education is a form of self-hate. And I really can say this: me getting educated on the world really helped me heal. It helped me understand like there's a whole thing out here that we don't even know about. But I started off with this book called The Law of Attraction, which I know sounds very generic, but this particular one had a tagline: get the relationship you want. And so in that moment, I was just like, oh, I will never have the relationship that I just had. So I need to read the secrets onto how to get the relationship that I desire. The book ended up tricking me. It made me realize that the relationship that I want is inside of me. And so it made me face everything about me. It made me then neutralize everybody else's thing. So even earlier when I was saying like learn to neutralize people's characteristics that are deemed positive or negative. So even the controlling thing, that was one of the first things they mentioned in that book. Like, take the judgment out of someone needing control, take the judgment out of someone needing attention, take the need out of them, just whatever other thing you can think of, and decide to face it, heal from it, and then cope with it in a healthy way. So I'll just say for me it was gaining education on a vast array of topics, reading, therapy, however you got, there's so many different options there, but I always say therapy is like the gym. Your brain is a muscle, your heart is a muscle. You have to go work it out in order to keep your muscles, to get your muscles, and then you have to keep working out to keep them. So if your body needs to get worked out, so does your brain and your heart. Most definitely immerse myself in church and prayer. You know, whatever your walk is your walk. Figure that out. But you got to be honest. You got to be honest. You got to be willing to face yourself. This is another thing that I did. I faced history. So in order for me to know my present and know my future, I decided to look back. But this time I decided not to go to the books that are, given to us in school, because I think most of us know, it's the survivors of war that tell the story, and those stories could be skewed. So I watched a lot of, I remember, slave documentaries and books, and people were like, why are you watching this stuff? And I was just like, I want to know what the group of people who faced the most atrocious monstrosity in, I think, all mankind history, how they not only went through that, but how they survived that, how they existed through that, and how they decided to live past that. And not only at first did it make me depressed, because the truth shall set you free, but at first depress you. That's actually the whole quote.
Yeah.
But it gave me a feeling of triumphantness, where I said, wow, if these folks, my folks, were able to go through that, and we're crushing it despite whatever stories out here. Like, we are crushing it.
Yeah.
And we're capable of so much more. But when I learned that history, I said, I will never apologize for any room that I'm in. I will never say thank you for allowing me to be here at this table, to be conversing with you. I'm not kissing anyone's ass. You're lucky I showed up. And that's how I feel. And that was based on my healing. And I think once you decide that, hey, I am supposed to be here, someone invented me that no one on earth could do, you will most definitely move beyond the feeling of like betrayal. This person is a minion in comparison to what you're really here for. And so if you focus on that, you can take over. You really can. We stop saying that when we're 5, but keep saying it till the end of time.
Wow. My final thoughts. To sense betrayal, you have to sit as a judge. The judge sits on a bench. And if you look up Black's Law Dictionary, the 3rd edition, the word bench is in Latin, and it means bank. When you stand before a judge, you're standing before a judge because charges are presented. You either have to pay doing time, or you have to pay doing a fine. Bank is metaphoric for the banks of the rivers. And the banks of the rivers control the current of the river. The current of the river is symbolic to currency. Putting all that together, when you sense that you've been betrayed, you are literally saying that the currency of the individual who is the betrayer is less than. I'm going to pause right there, because next week and the following week we're going to pick up on what I just said. But you literally are sitting on the bank. You are the Federal Reserve in human currency. You decide the value of said federal note. It's your boy Randy Chu, aka Mr. Chu on that, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
That's powerful.